You're in like a lecture mode right now.
I had a
Let's get
conversation
into
with
it.
a friend today who pretty much I had a friend, I just had a conversation similar about this topic where she, with her words, put herself in a box. And I'm just like, you just box yourself in. She's just like, yeah. Like, damn.
Yeah, that's what I had to do with going right and going left, because that's how you draw boxes. You go straight line, then you go right, and then you go down. So, like, yeah, if you go too far left, you know what I'm saying, that's like you getting into your left mind, you know, which is the thinking brain, you know, and then you can get caught up in your thinking brain and then not be able to see how to create, which is the right mind. Going right, like a right angle, that's the 90 degrees is the right angle. So you want to continue going right, because you're hitting that L, which is love, live, life, laugh, learn, lesson, live, listen, lips, you know what I'm saying, lamp, light, you know, so that's the L, which is a 7. So you want to continue going right, the 90-degree angle, but they have society in the left brain. That's why in major cities, they have all these 90 degrees, they have all these straight lines, like masculine line, you know, it's going to the left brain, you know, but it says, yeah, it is an L, but it should be a 7, you know what I'm saying? They just flipped it upside down, like 6 God, you know, it should be 9 God, you know, that's, you know, controlling the frequency of the wave. So, yeah, it gets deep, but then he's using the owl, 6 God, OVO is the owl, which the owl was a bird that was utilized in ancient Kemet of Egypt, you know, that represented wisdom. And wisdom is supposed to be, that's the divine feminine, that's the woman's principle, and the man is knowledge. So, you know what I'm saying, there it goes again, you know what I'm saying, a man, you know what I'm saying, controlling the woman's principle, but coming from it inverted. Instead of it being a divine feminine 9, it's a 6.
Interesting. Yeah, I've always known that.
I mean, who loves Drake the most? The woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then light skins. I'm just kidding, but not for real. like, because he speaks to almost like an in-between crowd. You know, it's not saying you have a particular preference, but yeah, they understand the magic that's within it. They show you in the videos too.
Oh yeah, in the music industry, all the mainstream music, like especially Drake's, but really more so like almost all the artists have, you know, encoded frequencies and magic rituals sometimes that are also added into the music to have a particular effect, you know, when it reaches the subconscious of the person listening.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I'm saying, feel free to sit closer too if you need a better angle. Like,
I'm really aware of that.
If you're gonna do something, I always like to implore, you know, about people like do it
You're
great.
right.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like,
right up here.
Yeah,
That's a good angle.
People might be disappointed at things that, you know, they might not see coming, but people are always thankful for great things to happen.
Yes, of course.
So we like to say in hip hop, you know, when it comes to engineering and producing, you actually can change the frequency of the subwoofer, you know what I'm saying, which is the stereo. You know, so you literally can put it mono, I'm saying singular, or stereo, like plural, and then you can actually take the sound waves and put it through the left or the right pockets. Literally, you know, so they understand the sciences, you know what I'm saying, it's called sound engineering or audio engineering, you know, and doing so, and not just that, but they do it and put it in the beats as well as they put it in the voice. So yeah, they having people on a constant spiral downwards, you know, rather than a constant spiral upwards when they're receiving the frequencies. Like, I know y'all seen the Travis Scott concert where they had all the people coming out and people were passing out and they've seen style. Like, yeah, like, you know, those are just tests now. They're testing space because they understand how to manipulate the timing of those beat. So like I was saying, you know, for every word, it's a magic spell. So spell casting has been specifically used to disintegrate our divine selves. We are born into this world, which born comes from the English word barren. And today's definition of barren, B-A-R-R-E-N, is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children, as designated by this, our language isn't even occurrent. Excuse me. Your parents are empirical rents. Our governments, especially our courts, don't treat our parents right to control and direct the upbringing of their children as a fundamental liability. Chill being cold and dren being like inside of something, so you're inside of a cold with your children. You know, so it's intentionally done. You know, as I said, that's poetics. From a young age, through many types of indoctrination, our parents help us through the process of being in the matrix. You know, if you look at the word childhood, a hood is used to cloak and hide something, and then the etymology of children is chill and dren. Chill means children are strong and healthy individuals who must be chilled, made cold. This all comes together. You know, and you can see in the Law Dictionary, Valentine's Law Dictionary, 1948, they describe the term human being as sea monster. So when you search monster, you get that definition. Human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. You know what I'm saying? That's why you want to be the God that's in you and not the human, because that's the animal listed, you know, the primal nature. You know, or that's the natural law, but not the universal law. Universal law is God, natural law is, anyways, beast. And the Oxford English Dictionary of 1901, a human is defined as belonging or relative to man as distinguished from God or superhuman beings. So these definitions are telling us that we are monsters that have no inherent divine qualities. The word live backwards is evil. Our language, as it is, we know, codified off Egyptian hieroglyphs and petroglyphs, which is Mesoamerican culture, which is the mound building culture. We know who we're speaking of right here, as far as the mounds in Mexico and South America, and the Olmecan heads and things like that. And then there's even mounds in Alabama, there's mounds like Georgia, down south, Mississippi. You know, that's why they say Egypt was over here, because it was all connected. So it's a code, and then the English language is symbolic for something. You know, it is an anagram, meaning it's transliterated morphically written. That's why there's a there, right? Where, like more, see. You know what I'm saying? So once we see that this is, you know, in fact, you know, these words have been programmed into us at a mass rate, we have to break down the symbolic meaning and all of their roots. You know, so in closing, what I'm saying is essentially our language is telling us that we are born as monsters who are bleakly and lifeless to a peer who rents us out to the government and other corporations that indoctrinate us as our childhood is spent under a cloak so that our divinity will be hidden from us in evil when we live.
Wow. Yeah, it goes deep, the etymology right there.
Yeah, that's how they set it up. So it was like, so our sentences, and in the sentence is what you get, you know, when you have to go inside of the box. You know what I'm saying? Are made up of words. The word sisters in Greek mythology were fates or witches who control the fates of men. Every word we say directly affects our reality and ultimately our fate. History, the Egyptian deity Thoth was said to have invented language and writing. The original purpose was to use words for magic. The words right and rites are pronounced the same, like a rite or a ritual. You know what I'm saying? A rite is a ceremony or a ritual. Whenever we are writing with words or speak, we are initiating a ritual. Books contain chapters. A chapter is often referred to a sect or a secret society, right? A chapter of religious order. To page someone is to send a message, to turn the page, or literally to summon them. Pages in books made of words are summoning things to enslave or imprison or free souls. The word grammar comes from the French word grimoire or grimoire. Grimoires were ancient magic books which contain instructions to summon demons. That's grammar. So keep in mind, we want to mention that sounds affect everything around us. The study of cymatics is the study of sound vibrational matter and has been demonstrated that vibrations and frequencies create geometric patterns in sand and other mediums such as water and even air. So we wake up each morning. A wake is a funeral party held before the day. And at the beginning of each day, we say to each other, good morning.
Right.
You know, morning is what you do when you are sad for the loss of someone or something. We begin each day reveling in the meaning of our divine nature, which has been stripped from us immediately, literally by calling it a good morning. It's pretty, what's it called, masochist, if you think about it. So we then go to work at our occupation. When you occupy something, it can be occupied by a military force. Like in war, occupying that land. Many occupations are focused on money, the dog-eat-dog control mentality. The dollar bill comes first for the environment or even each other. Therefore, we are committing war against each other and Mother Earth. Each day when I work, we work at our occupation. We are the military. We are the military. And we which earns a place where the ashes of the dead go. So for the average 9-to-5 workers, it would have to be one of the weekdays in order to earn a living. Think about it. You would have to be in a weekdays to earn a living. You can't, literally, like, you can't do that. It's like they say, what my mentor says, it's like trying to be celibate by fucking. It's not gonna work.
Oh yeah.
During the week, you become weaker and weaker, and so finally it's the weekend, you know, and then you have become weakened. Something or somebody who is weakened has no power, and during the weekend, many turn to drink alcohol or indulge in, you know, extracurricular drugs and activities. Alcohol comes from the Arabic word alcohol, which is a body-eating spirit. It is also the source of the word gold. You know, it's something you drink, like, you know, booze or booze. Booze are synonymous with spirits who scare you. Boo. Like Moses said, what? Boo. You know? So what can you expect when you are drinking spirits? Alcohol has always been a medium for entities to flow through, and the effects in part demonstrate this. This is why going back to hip hop, that's what they promote. You know what I'm saying? Alcohol. You know, everybody gets sponsored by it.
Yeah, because it goes back to what you said earlier. If you're not living your life consciously, then something else is going to be taken over, living it for you.
Yeah.
You know, and
because this is a host. You got, like, just like in your house, you got to host people. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll eventually, like, start naturally hosting themselves. They'll be unsure. Like when you was holding the plate, you was like, you know, what should I do? Because you didn't necessarily like call it or ask for it as your reality. You just responded to, you know, questions that was given to you. You know, so like after you were done with it, you're like, well, because I didn't bring this in, how do I get it out? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that part. So yeah, should I keep going?
absolutely.
Will you point out, like, you know about cursive, right?
Yeah. So
you touch on that too? I was wondering.
Let's see. If I see, I will. Yeah, with cursive, that you write in cursive, they teach you that in the 3rd grade, 3 being communication. You know, number that rules creation. You know, getting you spelled that way. But that's also when you sign in your cursive. You know, your signature is your sign's nature. You know, so like you're cursing it, but you can also crypt it as well. So that's the thing with cursive.
You're like, today kids are now learning cursive.
Yeah, you can script it though. We write by how you write cursive. That's the thing about it. It's going back to it being transliterated. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like literally words can change, you know, as it's being said and as it's being written. You know, so that's what we're dealing with. So then it says when we graduate, we receive a diploma. Diploma comes from the word diplom, meaning to deprive of feathers. We receive our degree. A degree is a line bent to an angle. When we accept a degree, we are admitting that we are bent and confused. I mean, these are the videos for all the little, like, to go to college. Well, okay, did you know that a diploma, you know, okay, going next. Education, as we all know, by now destroys knowledge. Meaning, just like the medical establishment destroys health and the government destroys freedom. All day we say to people, bless you, and I'm feeling blessed. When we bless somebody, we are literally telling them to be less. We should know that when we pray to an external entity like God, you know, we are actually telling the universe that we do not recognize our own creative abilities and manifestation. And when we pray, we are literally becoming prey. You know, somebody or something becomes prey when they are what does that say? Vulnerable. So when we are praying, we are making ourselves vulnerable to other entities that don't always have our best intentions or interests. We have all the power within us, and we need to get off of our knees. Our flat phone, right, has been squared. This, in part, is what squaring the circle represents. The divine feminine, or the circle, has been squared by masculine principles. Thoth, as mentioned earlier, is the Egyptian creative spelling. Thoth's name reveals the circle inside of the square. Thoth. It's the circle inside of the square. The T's make a square.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the origins behind his name?
Yeah, it goes back to math and lines and angles, because that's what words are, lines and angles.
Like Da Vinci.
Yeah.
What do you mean about Da Vinci?
It's the square and the circle, right?
Oh, and the one portrait he did?
No, but like the actual, like the picture.
Because
the modern man.
With the Da Vinci Code, which is the golden ratio.
Yes.
It's a square and a circle. Yeah, it's like it's the seashell, it's the nine that you see like in the galaxies or a hurricane. You know, it's a whole different thing. Hurricanes. They didn't have hurricanes during COVID season. They forgot. They were so busy. I noticed that.
Yeah, I was saying that too. They're just having new ways to distract us, pretty much.
Alright, so I'm supposed to start. Thought is made of squares in the form of T-squares. And you know, we know what this T-square is. It's like, you know, the compass and, you know, the T-square or the square times square. You know what I'm saying? With times square, it's also it's the Masonic symbol. You know what I'm saying? So the O is in the middle, which comes from the thought. These words act as electromagnetic vibrations, and it pulls our beings into confines by defining things in reality made of free-flowing sine waves. And that's why I say we're born in sin. It's the sine wave that's coming from the moon matrix and Saturn, because the moon is just the matrix, you know. The moon literally has to draw in the light from the sun. You know, that's how it's able for it to everything to be shown. So, you know, there's ancient civilizations that never even depicted a moon, you know what I'm saying, with just the sun. You know, so it goes to say that they try to show us like Men in Black, a group of beings known as the Archons, you know, created, you know what I'm saying, the plane of, you know, because every planet is just a plane, you know, of that sphere, you know what I'm saying, the moon, you know. So essentially that's the light that people see in the near-death experience, and that's the light that go in. And that's the light that's casting everybody back down to the earth plane, you know, the great beyond. Because we didn't come from the light, we were born and then we hit light, but in the womb it was darkness. You know what I'm saying? And wherever we were, when we're traveling to the womb, it was darkness there. So why are we leaving through the light? You know, the end is the beginning, the beginning is the end. So in the center of the sun, which is the sun is the light, that's where the darkness is. So we have to travel back through, up and through the sun, you know, and not, you know, get swung back into this reality by actually the frequency of that sine wave or the sin wave, you know. So it's just like the oh wow, actually I didn't have to even read the page. I guess the moon matrix projecting square waves on us. A square, again, it's a learning curve, because that's the angle of the square, is that curve, that fractal, going back to the Freemason. So a learning curve means it's going to take you a while to get around that angle, because you go straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't get that lesson, you're not going to get the blessing. Do it again and again and again, you know. So, you know, we could say that we are in fact helping them in squaring our reality with limiting sounds that we utter from our mouths. You know, so what has been given to us has been perfectly practiced, so we reveal in language full of narcissism and hatred for our divine selves, unintentionally. It is best that we start learning to speak with a more conscious language. Everything that we say is directly affecting this projection that we are all in. We can use our intention and words to create an amazing reality. One day we will return back in our full telepathic nature, but for now, let's make the best of the spells. There are a lot more to discuss as far as words go, which, you know, we'll be talking a lot more about. So, how was that?
Ashe.
Yeah, hold on. I ended it with a scripture. From the Gospel of John, John 1:1, which states, "In the beginning was the Word."
That's the best way to end it right there.
Yeah,
Man.
It gets deep, you know. So that's why I started doing more thinking after I read that and I copied that. I was like, man, like, yeah, every word was intentionally created. Every letter was intentionally created. It represents something. You know, like we think it as words, but it used to just be like alchemical science. You know, and then you could put different signs together in an equation, and then it would add up to sound like, feel like, look like. You know, you could summon things. You know, because that when you write something, when you think it, that's one dimension. When you speak it, that's two dimensions. And then when you write it, now you have the three dimensions: mind, sound, and now you can see it physical, like permanently. So that's the third law, laws of maxims. So that's God's law. So that's now you being in tune with God. You know, from both that fifth dimension and then now also the third dimension as well.
As being the divine vessel.
Crystals into the Christ conscious. Christ conscious is just a frequency that allows you to basically allow your kundalini to rise. You know, that's why I kept saying breathe, 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 because if you don't breathe for too long, you're out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of the universal law in nature. This vehicle needs that element, the O, which goes back to the circle, the whole, you know, O is oxygen. You know what I'm saying? That's why Om, you know, or home, you know, is so powerful. You know, because the O again, that's our soul, so S-O-L, our solar plexus. You know, that's why God from there wouldn't give it to actually live without quote unquote our animalistic nature. Because it's what gives us, it was what keeps us on the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Of
it's
course.
what keeps us on the earth. You know, or else we would be, you know, ascending, really transcending, you know, constantly. But we're getting back to that reality in this current moment. Because again, the moon matrix got us squares. We're learning our lessons now, finally. We're generation Z, I believe. Well,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm a millennial, I think that's what they call us.
Right.
In between millennials and Z. You know, so we went from all the way from A, and now they went X, generation Y, generation Z. So we're the end. And then the millennials at the beginning of something, a new millennium.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is also the end of a Kali Yuga cycle as well, from the age of Aquarius and the age of the Bronze Age, I believe, into now, or full revolution back into the Golden Age. And this is Kali Yuga cycle is something that happens like every 2,600 years or something to that effect. And yeah, we've just transitioned into that, so that's where you get the full breakdowns that relate into you know, not only like with the age of Aquarius being the age of information, so people are waking up to realize, you know, all the things that have been hidden from society, but also a full new system or new earth that's being, you know, birthed, where essentially, like you said, you know, we use the tools that we have now, like with language and with everything, but we're creating new systems for everything, whether it be like language, you know, currencies, you know, society, every aspect of society is being restructured, and it's the greatest opportunity that we've had, you know, as a species to create, you know, these new earth foundations.
Yeah, it's the greatest opportunity, and also like you said, we're in the golden dawn or the golden age because of what the sun is doing. It's
Right.
getting, you know, the earth and the sun are vibrating closer, so it's literally ushering in lights. That's what the sun is. It's a lights entity, you know, that is emitting photons, which is antimatter, you know what I'm saying, and matter both at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So you're able to capture in, you know, antimatter and matter through, you know, your telekinetic synthesizer, you know, which is your neuromelanin.
Yes.
That you're able to process within your brain. So that's why when you allow oxygen, more space, more opening, more om to come inside of you, you can process more of that information, you know, which is that knowledge. You'll be able to then know the ledge. So, like, yeah, you have to be allowed to get in your genes, you know, that's why they say give you pants and they call it jeans. Yeah, you gotta, because you know, your genes get tangled up and they get wrinkled and stuff like that. So they want your genes to get tangled up and get wrinkled.
Yes.
You know, because when you unwrinkle or untangle your genes, you know, your genetic code, that's when you get to tap into that Akashic record. You know what I'm saying? Which is not just all your memories, you know what I'm saying, but it's the memories of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, essentially going back to the light thing, Age of Aquarius, they also
Can I
call
add to that?
Yeah, please.
I shared this video on my story, and it was saying, the more you fuck around, the more you'll find out.
I saw that one
So,
too.
so if you don't fuck around, you're never gonna find out.
Yeah, that goes back because they have the system set up to where everybody's living backwards. So you have to fuck around. You literally have to go around. It's just like in the movie Ready Player One. You know, in the first race in Ready Player One, he kept losing. Everybody kept losing. They were trying to get the key, and then he went and got into the mystery and realized, like, wait, the creator of the game said, what if we went backwards really fast? So this is exactly what he did to get the first keys. He went backwards really fast.
Right.
And that's when he won the race. So essentially, because we're living backwards, the way we come into artificial light in an artificial space, breathing artificial chemicals, you know what I'm saying, getting fed artificial food, you know what I'm saying, then we're born, you know, which is belief and unlikeliness, we have to go backwards really fast because we're already going in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it means to unlearn. You gotta actually keep unlearning, you know, because they just twisted the truth so much. Like you have to twist it back, twist the bottle back for, you know, the fullness of who you actually are to unfold. You know, this is what the plants, you know, help, you know, whether it be marijuana, you know, psychedelics, you know what I'm saying, the chemicals, you know, that's why we were out chemists, you know, like chemists being chemistry, you know, we was understanding that certain chemical combinations equal certain effects, cause and effect, law, you know, cause and effect, you know, going back to the law of rhythm. But going back to the sun, the age of Aquarius, the sun photons, that's information, so it's literally putting us more into information. That's why they're seeking, though the top 500 corporations, they're, you know, expanding because more information is coming in, so they're going out because, you know, the way the system is designed to keep information from those at the bottom, you know, so that you can continue growing your business. So now that information is coming in, those at the bottom will go up. You know what I'm saying? So now where does those that's at the top go? They either have to go down or they have to go out. You know, so this is what we're seeing with the Tesla thing and the projects. You know, they have enough financial resources and land, and they're not just getting land just to get land. No, they're getting testing grounds in certain spaces, launching pads, and portals and dimensions, frequencies, land that's vibrating on certain frequencies and ley lines and places on the earth that have certain energy signatures so that they can tap into the energy there and then see what's there and uncover that space. Because this how you actually leave is through like the Bermuda Triangles and through spaces like that, you know, going outside of the land. So to the certain whatever frequency you're on the pyramid, whether you're a citizen, operating universal law, you can see everything they do is for a divine purpose. Because you are a divine being and everything is just a reflection of you. So everything they do is for a divine purpose. Like last week was a fire over here, like by the train. I saw a big fire, a whole bunch of smoke and out in the clouds.
No.
Yeah, it was big. It was like lasted like 6 hours. And apparently a junkyard caught on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, man, we were walking and we saw it. And I was like,
that was on Tuesday or Thursday?
Tuesday. I was like, that's a building. You know, I didn't even know how it was a building. And then at the end, I was like, wait, how do I know it's a building? Maybe it's cars. But then it was both. It was a junkyard. Then they delayed the train to like New Jersey for 6 hours. So when things are done that affects commerce like that, you know, then you have to ask yourself like, okay, why did it take so long? Because time is money. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the resources to like do things instantaneously if they need to. You know, for technology, the things they're not used to. You know, so if you watch shows like what's it called? Not House of Cards, but yeah, House of Cards. You know, they show like, yeah, they turned off the lights at a baseball game, a major league game, because they were having a dispute, you know what I'm saying, with the president and one of the billionaires. So like, yeah, the things that affect us, like they be having, it's just arguments with them at the top. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody's getting fight. Okay, like, okay, you want to give me this? I'm gonna keep sending the waters over there and just on the top, like, you don't pay me back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is.
More games at the chess table.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's it?
That's also something I've definitely realized. I'm good at that. You know, being especially especially on my journey, you know, being involved within so many different projects and areas of life where you learn about how to create your own systems, you realize that, you know, with the direction the world is heading, especially with the New World Order agendas that are, you know, being promoted right now, they're all designed to basically, you know, get people to be completely reliant upon the system so that they can have complete control. But that's the same thing that they teach within, you know, those in the sovereignty-related process. They even say that you own nothing but control everything.
Yep.
You know, and when you learn how to do that in a way where it goes into what the true meaning of it is, not what the
Talk about it. The universal law. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, what they try to promote it as is that, you know, it's you being subservient to this limited construct of, you know, finite resources, and within the laws and regulations of the maritime law, you know, but the universal laws, which everything in every government that we have now is founded upon, is the same laws that have governed everything in nature throughout the beginning of creation and time. And what has even allowed us to even get to this point in our society's evolution is that, you know, these laws have always had to been followed, but the way that they promote it in society is they will give you, you know, a certain aspect of the truth, so that, you know, that they will hide the truth in plain sight, or give you like a predictive programming of something, because within the universal laws they can never impose onto you unless you give permission or you submit to it. And that's why, you know, they program within the movies and within the shows, like you're saying.
Yeah, I was gonna go back. That what you said as far as you said control you at the end.
They do all of this to be able to control.
Yeah, that goes back to own nothing and control everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, to the point that you were speaking of. So yeah,
Do you guys have any herb for me to roll?
Yes.
because you about to make a blend.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you say own and control everything, yeah, it goes back to the universal point is like the law of attachment, and detachment. You know, understanding, you know, not to be the law of detachment is like that. You are everything, but you're not attached to anything. You're just connected to everything. You know, so that's what they mean by own nothing, control everything. And also, you can't own anything because you didn't create it. You know, it's creating itself. Nothing is created or destroyed; it's just transferred. So you can't even own anything, but you can control your frequency. You can control your energy. So essentially, that's what's happening. Is like it's a self-reminder to control your frequency, to control your energy. You know, and also, like, you know, if you ever go into meditation, you realize that control, you know, that's in the sense of an illusion. Because even when you're driving and you're controlling the steering wheel, when you get on a highway and you're able to go like a certain path long enough, right? You're able to go a certain path long enough, you start flowing, and you get the less you can try to control, actually the more that you flow. You know what I'm saying? You can like be flowing and get into states of flowing in and out of like cars, you know what I'm saying? You
It's
know,
a balance.
yeah, it's a balance, you know, because like it's more like you're not controlling it from this point of
Can I
view.
use the grinder?
Yeah.
From this realm, what's happening is you're allowing the being, this supreme being, or the higher dimensional being, which would be your fifth dimensional, bigger, larger space being, the infinite being, do the doing. I feel like
exactly
that's how Alan Watts be saying it.
like in country music. There's a song saying Jesus take the wheel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then the wheel's powerful too, because the wheel, steering wheel, and then the wheel is like a tire is a wheel. You know what I'm saying? Then the wheel is what the engine, they have an access that then they spin on the wheel. So the wheel is like, is it a car or is it a giant wheel in multiple pieces?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't even move it without the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the wheel goes back to the will, you know what I'm saying, or the will of God. You know what I'm saying? Which would be the God under there, because the will comes from your soul, or your solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the will is so powerful. You know, and they're also utilizing the wheel, you know, and having us drive it around. We know we're supposed to be rotating around the wheel and receiving it. Like, we're not even necessarily, we're supposed to be driving more so like a U type shape, you know what I'm saying, or a straight type thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I give them a lot of credits, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, going to this great extent to keep us collectively, like, you know, not aware, you know, and because this helps me not like go hard or try to pressure people. You know, my mentors always tell me, just allow those who can see that's already doing the work, you know what I'm saying, to just do the work while naturally doing it. You know, like, you know, sometimes you might hold the jewels, you know what I'm saying, you try to show it to people, they can't see it, you know, and if they can't see your jewels, then that means like they're not ready to receive it. You know, so, and then life gets easier that way, you know. And then the last part is just the financial realm, you know, because that's what these realms set up on, that currency. You don't want to earn, you want to transfer currency, you know, from
Right.
one side to the next, you know, from
Yeah.
the yin to the end. When to master Tai Chi, you know, start thinking like that, like, okay, money is just, it's energy. And energy is a current. You got positive, you got negative, that's energy. You got red, you got blue, you got masculine, you got feminine, you got north, you got south. That's a current. So you got one side to it, you know, money, like you got debt, that means if that's negative, then you got positive, and you got credit. You know what I'm saying? So using the negative to get to the positive, you know, because the positive, no matter what happens to it, it's still positive. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens to the positive, that credit, because you are the most high within, you're always creditable. So that's literally how they imitated the system of the credit system, the FICO system. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, and they utilize false evidence appearing real to get people to not get to the positive side. People are afraid of credit, or people are ignorant to credit, or people, you know, they hold their credit in even if they have good, like they hold it in, they're attached to it. You know what I'm saying? People keep spending and keep utilizing these debt, negative tones, these negative frequencies. With all these presidents, all these other people's faces on it who have stories and lives and things that they did, you know, which wasn't all highly favorable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, you know, except for like Abraham Lincoln, he's the only president. His face is the opposite direction. All the president's faces are like right, faces left. You know, he tried to come out with a greenback dollar. He tried to come out with a new dollar that wasn't a debt note, and that's why they assassinated him, because they're like, nah, you can't do that. You know, like presidents are limited. JFK, you know, he had a speech where he exposed this 7 levels of military defense that they utilize, you know, to control the world. And I was like, yo, he used words I never even heard of, you know, and that's why he was assassinated.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah, I've heard of that too. Like all the presidents that, you know, were assassinated were ones that actually.
Andrew Jackson too.
Yeah, they were all.
He was like down
you know,
with the
leaders that were actually the only ones that were really fighting for the people.
Yeah, he was like,
You know?
well, more so they just didn't like what the
They
government was trying to do to the people.
Right.
You know, because even
Yeah.
when the Constitution was written, it was supposed to be like an agreement, like, okay, government, we are the people, and this is what y'all can do, and this is what y'all can't do. You know what I'm saying? But then the government took that and was like, nah, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Then they made it, they modified themselves, whoever the government was. You know what I'm saying? So then they enacted that as law. You know what I'm saying? They were funded by the international bankers, you know, who helped them get soldiers and different things like that to protect that law. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're standing on, is somebody's own constitution. And that's why you got to get into developing your own, you know, business and having your own bylaws to that business, your own trusts, your own bylaws, the laws you go by, your own constitution. You know, then also co-opted that with the body of God, because you need the arm, what is it? It's an arm, leg, arm, head. That's the body of God, or like a 5-point, like a star. So like, yeah, you need team. There's no such thing. There's no I in team. You know what I'm saying? But there is me, and technically it is all me. It's all you.
Right.
You know, so it can't be done without a team. All these corporations, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you know, they had the right. It was not even about a large team necessarily, but it's about the right team. Because everybody becomes a duplication of whatever the core is. You know what I'm saying? So the core could be 7, it could be 12, it could be 18, it could be 21, and everything's a duplication of that. You know what I'm saying? That's like a football roster. You got the first line, you know what I'm saying? The first line, offense, defense, you know, that's the core, and everything is a duplication of that. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit weaker, you know what I'm saying, or less than, you know, but they're all one whole. You know, because they have somebody on the first line comes out, the second line got to be the first. So it really is no different, and the second line could be the first at any point in time.
Yeah.
You know? And that goes back to the second line. So the first line is masculine, because the first line is 1, and the second line would be 2, or 2 lines. 1, 2 is 2 lines, so it's 2. That's where number 2 comes into existence. You know, that's feminine, but the 2 can come into the second line can come into the first at any time. And that's the trick between the divine and feminine. You know, and that's why it goes back to the wheel and letting it flow. You know. Yeah, I know it's scripted because it's this English language. You know, it's like it's the English language, but it's math or it's numbers that they made into words, and numbers are just energy expressions. You know, energy was just traveling, and it'd be like almost like a dance move. Like if we just do a dance move, we do something like this. Like we do a number, you know, 1 would be like that.
Flows,
Yeah, and then 2, and then they connect. You know, they end up making images. You know.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Is especially the fact that you said they made words out of numbers, because when you learn how to decode the matrix in terms of everything that they promote in our mainstream society nowadays, they have a code called gematria that they use to basically put,
by using boxes and squares and
they put that code into everything that they promote in order to basically have things that, just as I said earlier, for them to control everything, they need people to have themselves giving permission in a certain sense. So the ways that they program the language and use the gematria code, they're actually subconsciously, it goes beyond most people's heads, but they're giving consent in a sense to all the stuff that's going on that they do for this. And you can, when you learn about it and when you learn how to master it, you can essentially flip the script on them and be able to learn ahead of time what their plans are and their agendas, and then adjust accordingly. There's groups out there that will either be able to predict these things that are going on in the future for financial gain, or honestly the only thing that I would promote is when you're using it for the liberation of humanity and for things that are evolving you into that true liberated sense of, rather than being a victim of your circumstances to what's being promoted on the media, to becoming a co-creator of it, realizing that you have the power to change your circumstances by not only the words you speak that you program into your reality, but the ways that you empower others, to do the same. You start these movements, these networks, these communities, then you get to a point to where...
I'm just going to say, like David, so why don't we do this? I mean, why
that's
don't people...
what we are doing.
Yeah, I mean, but collectively, like generally, like
right.
I guess consistently or habitually, why don't people do this? Well, why don't we do this habitually?
Listen to this. It is what it is until you think differently.
Yeah.
So...
Right.
So everybody is having this common thought going on.
Yes.
And it's keeping them locked within that frame.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's like, goes back to like the mycelium network. So it's a network, and that network makes a cloud, like iCloud.
The cloud is called
the superconscious.
It's
Gregorius.
Gregorius. It's like a cloud. Cloud.
Yeah, so it's just like the superconscious, and that's where data is being stored. But so they channeling, and that's why we watch the TV through a channel, or YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, and then even a radio station is a channel. You know what I'm saying? So they have all the space, what you're paying your attention, your currency, in a particular space.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they are capping that space, and that's why you have to take a cap. You know what I'm saying, to get out of that space. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody pops a cap in that ass, you know what I'm saying? Or you pop a cap, like, a mushroom cap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't need to.
That's a fact. So, but yeah, you mentioned a few great things that I want to also go into. What was the word that you realized? Man, it was like a full circle of things that was spoken about that I can't even recall right now.
Well, I'll finish the thought as well.
Let's spit it back in.
Absolutely. This transition here, really amplifies the point of what I was saying as well, is that, they're building a collective, hive mind reality program. Yeah, to where they're essentially, having all these things programmed into our society so that people are consenting to it, but it's going past their subconscious mind. That's why you also say it's like super conscious mind.
Yeah, because you got conscious, subconscious, then unconscious. So yeah,
Right.
it's getting implanted to a point where they can't see. It's kind of
Yes.
like, you know, like your peripheral. your rear view mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see your rear view mirror when you're in your car, but how do you see your rear view mirror when you're in your vehicle?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then to transmute that into
True.
That's serious right there.
to transmute that, you have to create a new vision, and then amplify that through the communities of all those like-minded individuals, and have enough focused energy, life force energy into that one collective thought. And there's companies out there even to this day that utilize this principle.
Yeah, you spin some bars and it's making super sense because you talking about hemisync.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? You're talking about, because
exactly.
you're saying focus because we're light beings.
Yeah.
So if you take your light and put it through one channel,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? That's what a laser is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A laser is a light through one channel.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Illuminated. You know
The
what I'm saying?
CIA has even done, they've done experiments on hemisync, and
Yeah,
they've been
yeah.
able to find that they can use that to amplify people's psychic abilities.
Yeah, military
And-
generals use hemisync to send out, armies, you know what I'm saying, to
Yes.
go conquest and conquer,
Yeah,
spaces,
like psychic spies
Yeah,
of armies.
yeah.
That literally can fight battles on multiple realms, and the governments know this because,
Wait,
it's-
you're on live? I'm like,
Do you
we're just
mind
recording.
grabbing one of those ashtrays for you guys? There's a couple on that
Yeah,
filter there.
Hey, get this one. Let's go in. So yes, that's a collectively we have to pivot off that energy and utilize our time to run the play. Like we're actually going into occult information like sacred and secret spaces right now with what we're speaking on.
Yeah, we are.
because- and that's what we're here to do.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? As the one being or the one body that we're within, is to bring that which was hidden, back into the light. Because
Exactly.
this is like going back to the in formation, they have everybody moving in a formation, everybody's in a box because of how the sine wave is hitting the earth plane. So that's why you have to check in the boxes, you know what I'm saying, for everything is full applications. The application is how information comes out. You
Right.
have to apply it, so that's why they put in the application. And also in the application is what computers run, which you are an organic computer, so you got you running all these different applications. You're checking in this box and checking in that box, so yeah, you're squaring yourself in, and then they have everything as a box, like the phone, the wallets, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, the apps, television box, you know what I'm saying, X box, they go in with the box, you know what I'm saying, so they really have, and then that's why in SpongeBob, there was an episode where they were in the box, and it was like imagination.
Oh yeah.
And it was all the way outside of the box, in the box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why Albert Einstein said more powerful than knowledge is imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. It does say that. Imagination.
Yeah,
Magic nation.
I in, I or one, and then magi, that's a lowercase god. You know what I'm saying? Like magi straight. That's one who creates.
Like image in mind,
Yeah, that's one who creates law. A magi, one who creates law. One who creates as he speaks. You know what I'm saying? A magistrate. And then image, and then magi, the nation. You know what I'm saying? Nation is things coming together. So imagination is how you utilize the subconscious and the unconscious to bring to the conscious. Because those are just three different planes separated by frequencies, and that frequency is a vibration. So you change your vibration, then you change your frequency. You change your frequency, then you can get to these planes. You know what I'm saying? And the more you get to these planes, the more you start what's called oscillating around them. Just naturally. So the thing is with that, now you'll be a high frequency being. What that causes is entities to repel, from you or come to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a magnet now, or you're charged magnets. So, in quantum physics, they say two opposing frequencies cannot operate in the same time and space. So you'll cause dissonance, cognitive dissonance, immediately on this particular journey. And that's why many, they settle at different levels and don't keep going to infinity and beyond. Because you start becoming cognitive dissonances to those who aren't going into infinity and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's just so many limitations as we just went over earlier. You know, within the language and the words and everything like that, and spells and born and birth. You know, even the birth is somewhere where a ship sits. You know what I'm saying? In the port. You know what I'm saying? And then the port. You know, like a short for portal, or put it in the port.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Usually put, you know, something like a hard drive, something hard that drives in the port, you know what I'm saying, which is the portal, right? Something hard that drives in the portal, you know what I'm saying, to get information.
Yep.
Information. That's it's a whole, like, and that's how wise or and knowledgeable or intelligent they are. They would take everything that's different or separate and actually put it as one, but it not be recognizable. You know what I'm saying? Because like we just literally spoke about a computer and a hard drive that was also connected to the phallus and the yoni with a portal and a hard drive. You know what I'm saying? And then even that being said, is describing the experience that it is. Like when you have a hard drive, you know what I'm saying? So it's describing the action of what it does. And then you put it in a USB to get information off of the thing that it was ported into. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to import and then export. You know, the information. You know what I'm saying? So, so we're constantly, so this is the matrix. And people are constantly doing this, thinking it's just, oh, just a computer, oh, it's just technology. No, it's you. That's a micro dimension of you that you're manipulating. You know what I'm saying? You're tampering with yourself. You're trapping yourself constantly, you know, and that's because, you know, we were just led, we were inspired because we're currents. Our current was blown this way. We were inspired. You know, we say in, and then spire is breath. So, you know what I'm saying? And the breath is what leads you. So we were literally pushed into this dimension, you know. So, like, yeah, we have to spiral back out. And let's go backwards really fast. We got to go backwards really fast to spiral back out because we're, you know, living backwards.
Do you guys know what strains you guys have?
No, I forget the name of mine, but I could ask.
Peace. I mean, this is resonating because
Mine's peanut butter and mint.
Oh, cool.
peanut butter and
Peanut butter and mint.
And we had cherry pie. There's 3 strains.
Dang.
Peace to God.
That's a good mix.
Rose petals, sage, red raspberry, and tobacco.
Yeah, that was a good mix.
Oh, it also had a little bit of lavender and rose.
Oh man.
You speak a lot with your emotions, with your energy and motion. Yeah, like sometimes it precedes your thought or your word.
It's that Pisces thing.
It's a moon and Aries thing.
Yeah.
Because Aries is the head, so Aries can like.
Very visual. It's like a visual kind of. Like
Also, I was gonna say because it's fire and it's the first fire, it's the first sign. You know, it starts things, so it immediately goes into something. You know what I'm saying, before a thought. You know what I'm saying, because it's fire. You know what I'm saying, thought comes in with the breath and with the air to expand the fire. You know what I'm saying? That's what a thought is. It's something that's beginning and then it's traveling and keeps traveling until like it comes into like a full cycle or something. And that's a sentence or a period. You know, you can make sentences in your mind. Man, then they sentence people and then they bond them, but a bond just has to do with what they're doing to the soul, because the person is just the soul that's per son. It's the personal son, you know, so they're bonding the sun, you know, literally, and getting its currency. That's why the private prison industry is one of the top industries. You want to get some good trading going on, invest in those. And also, if you want to influence the laws and the corporations, we want to invest in their stocks, in like large parties, like political action committees, you know what I'm saying, nonprofit organizations. And then when we want to make change, instead of rallying, we just pull our stocks out. You know what I'm saying? We want to fuck with your trust funds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, all right, you want to kind of talk about it then, you know what I'm saying? Or like trying to figure out how to take it off. But if you take it off, then you have the potential of like destroying yourself, pulling your own rug. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to the point where we have such an amount of reserves, and if we were to be taken out, then all of it would be just dished back out onto the people. You know what I'm saying? Trapping them in their own game. You know what I'm saying? Which is really our own game, because the only enemy is the inner me.
Yeah.
So you're just going against yourself. You'll sound like, man, you're so clever because it's your polar side. You know what I'm saying? Your south, but we're going back into. Oh, your left. We're going back into one side. Instead of being in both sides, Pisces, which is a fish, it was dual. Now we're going to Aquarius, which is washing out the waters, and it's going to be just water. You know what I'm saying? The fish going to be traveling. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, we're getting to that point. That's what the age of Aquarius is symbolizing, the waters being cleansed. You know, water represents information, and it also holds in energy. You know, water. As you can see, I got water here. You know, it's being charged. You know, then you put the mason jar in front of the speakers to also be charged. You know, to actually hold in information from the high frequencies.
Yes.
You know.
But also like in the office, but also in the sun in the window. Or
Yeah.
outside.
So we put it in the sun.
In Georgia, we would put it in the ground.
Yeah, we put it in the grass so that it can actually pull in the ions. You know what I'm saying, from the earth.
What do you put in the ground?
Oh, a mason jar of water.
Or just the.
Yeah, so it can charge, you know, so that it can earth charge, you know, and then mineral water, and then you can put a crystal or stone in there to magnify that light.
Yeah.
The sunlight that's coming through there, you know what I'm saying? Or any stone that you want to take in, it could be a citrine, it could be amethyst, it could be clear quartz, you know what I'm saying? You know, especially when you put lime in it, you know, it allows for the chemicals to come together. You know? So then when you put it in the sun actually activates the H3O. It adds another
H3O2.
Yeah, another element of hydrogen. So now you have
Fourth
three.
phase of water.
Yeah, yeah. So now that's the actual structure of water that our bodies, you know, are in alignment with. You know, that goes back to we have circles in our DNA. You know, we have circles that are our cells that make up our body. You know, we're points, you know, connected as one. You know, that's what a cell is. You know, a bunch of points. That's what a fractal is. You know, so this is why they're squaring the circle. You know, with all the boxes and the prison cell. If you get in jail, you know, then you got to go into a cell, and they take this battery and they put it in a small box. You know, an even smaller box so that the energy doesn't travel or flow, and it only moves the way they want it to go.
Yeah, that's the water in our bodies, you know.
But like you said, you have to agree to it as far as going to jail, because the judge can't judge you because they said that they all swear in the Bible and it says, "Judge don't judge your neighbor." So the judge can't judge you. He can only ask you if you want to agree to the sentence. You know, yeah, because you are the creator of your reality, and that's not just the same. That means like, you know, you have to authorize everything. You know, that's why you came in and you were certified. You were a certified unit or a certificate unit. You know what I'm saying? A security. You know what I'm saying? A bond. That thing, it be going in, don't it?
It do, yeah.
Yeah, the word is like, and that's because the first entities who were setting this up was Constantine. It goes back to all the way 325 AD, and even before that, like 85 BC. You know, when the Holy Wars started, it was like a period of like 500 to 700 years. They were fighting for land in between like Africa and Asia, and that's what they call the Holy Land. You know what I'm saying? And then also South America, what was going on over there as well. Different, you know, portal lands, you know what I'm saying? So, and this is how, you know, the church, which understood the energy and the frequencies of, you know, what the earth was doing, the metaphysicians, but the church, you know, that was created from actually Platonymy, you know, and the Platonists, you know, when the Greek actually wanted to go into Egypt and Platonymy wanted to be deified. But the Greek told them at the time that they didn't deify man, they didn't worship man, they only worship nature. You know, so then, you know, Plotinus went with Alexander the Great, and Alexander the Great had been taught by the mystery schools, you know what I'm saying, in Egypt and in Kemet, you know, so you knew about, you know, how to be a great general and a great leader, you know, so then that's how they went, you know, and invaded, and they understood, the Kemites understood the law of exchange, so that if you put this out, it might take this many dimensions for it to come back, but you're going to receive that energy, universal law. So there was no point of, like, the complete fight, because after that point in time, that's when nature came and destroyed things and sunk the, you know, the island. They didn't necessarily get destroyed. They went into a different density, a different dimension. You know, we can actually lift that dimension back up, raise the frequency, you know, which is heaven, the higher states that those people were in. So, yeah, with the Greek thing, then they created, you know, to the Bible, which was Helios, Biblios. Oh, Keith called me. I don't know if it was on purpose. It's my mentor.
Oh, is he? Damn, he called you?
Yeah, my mentor in Atlanta, where I took my first DMT trip, you know,
Really?
on my birthday a few years ago.
Oh my goodness. He did it for you on your birthday?
Yeah, he had the penthouse jungle, is at the top of is in Atlanta, like in the middle of the city. You know what I'm saying? It's like plants and waterfalls everywhere.
Whoa.
You know, the sacred geometry is on point, you know, because it's like, again, the people who are at the top, they understand this, what I'm talking about. So this information, this may not be common or like average information to the most common, but the people up at the top, they understand feng shui, you know what I'm saying, minimalism and space and time, and that's why they're successful, because they were able to use space and time. You know what I'm saying, no matter what field they're in. So, you know, but now we're just in that space and time where the information of like what's more natural is coming back out, because we can see and we can feel and we can hear, you know, more of the destruction and decay that's actually happening now. Like, oh wait, like damn, people on this news channel, like they dying every day, you know, or damn, like man, like I can see how my cells actually look like, and they change, and you know, like also like water structure, water can change. We can see more, so we can feel more, you know. So they can't stop that. So like I said, the ones at the top, they're going out and they're leaving this plane, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're not just looking at Mars because it's just empty. No, they have known and found and seen that there's ancient like civilizations that are actually on it. You know, and that's why like the wealthiest people are going to Mars. You know what I'm saying? The most connected families are going to Mars, and not just regular average citizens. You know, so you know, we have to really keep respecting the media and the corporations, because they've been doing this for a long time. You know, they're not just new to this. You know what I'm saying? They're actually true to this, but their time is up. Just imagine you playing a business for 10 years and you thinking about the end goal in mind. You know, you would know like the exit plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's a corporation, so they know their exit plan. They're just going through their exit plan right now. You know, 2020 was the activation, and if you go through dementia and numerology, and was it 2029 or 2027? That'd be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That'd be 11 year. And 2025 is the 7 year. So 11 will be like the gateway we'll go through. The 2029 as 9, 10, 11. The 2028 as 10, 1 and 0. That'd be like a great like reset. The binary code.
Yeah, that's
2028. And then 2029 will be 100 years since the Great Depression that happened in 1929. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 1929. The Great Depression. We ain't been through a recession in over 13, 14 years. So we're actually on the brink of a Great Depression that's going to set it up. You know, and all that is a massive currency shift. You know, because then that was 1929. In 1933, they removed the gold standard behind the dollar. You know what I'm saying? So now in 2029, we got digital currency coming into play. So now they're gonna move like the actual paper currency and put digital currency into play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not even prepared for it.
No, of course. Right. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. This Agenda 2030 and everything I was speaking about earlier with gematria. It's started by the ancient Jewish Kabbalists, and they actually 5,000 plus years ago created the Jewish calendar that they follow, which they call Shemitah cycles, that are every 7 years. And we just last week entered into the new Shemitah cycle, so that's a whole 7-year cycle that has just been completed. And at the same exact time when that happened, we also saw XRP. It got a 50% jump in that same exact time frame when we entered the new Shemitah cycle.
So that's dope.
And, XRP is, you know, set to be the coin that's going to be overtaking all the currencies around the world.
Yeah, because that's the XRP. That's the government created token. You know, but that's just every token is just its own sovereign entity, its own sovereign nation.
Yeah,
because it's accumulating, it's its own money. So you're not a nation, you know, unless you have your own money, and something to protect that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's going back to that, but the technology though is going to really integrate into society, meaning, you know, that when they remove cash, they're going to start removing paper, not information will literally have to go in. So it's like instead of having like, you know, a debit card, you might have it like implanted in, you know, like the iPhone will be in your eye. You know what I'm saying? Or in your eyes, like a contact or like a glasses that you can see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're going to create technological cities where you have to have like certain access. Like, you know how you have key cards to go to work in certain buildings? You know, with the fucking rationals and the different things that's going to happen. You know, they're definitely going to be forcing people, like, you know, how they force the vaccines. You could get, you know, microchips, you know, in order to get into certain buildings instead of using cards anymore, because now that's where your cash is and your identity, all these different things, literally your body. So unless you have one of these chips, you won't be able to literally function in the technological city. So you will have to literally go back to nature, you know, at that point in time, if you haven't already. you know, because, you know, if they're pushing out, you know, the natural, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're gonna make it harder to barter here, so you naturally be pushed to places that are barter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's the code.
China's
That
like a
is a
testing ground for that.
Yeah, China is just a
China's
big
like a-
dragon. You know,
like a
you got
pirate.
America is a big eagle, which is another form of a dragon. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got China's a big dragon, and these are entities that like they basically don't need the opposite sex to like keep themselves alive.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They can regenerate themselves. You know, and then you have Russia, like the big bear. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what's going on. Like you have these big animals, you know, like the animalistic natures of these places on this plane, this earth, you know, like going at against one another. And the reason why, you know, the world is like at bay, because like, yeah, they all have access to technology that can, you know, reset, you know, like not just their whole infrastructure, but they can interfere with others' infrastructures as well.
Yes.
So there's other forces that have to patrol that, or else, you know, it would be out of control. Because what's to say one man or one body or one group of people or one organization doesn't just take out a nation that's weaker than them? Like China, for example, why they don't just take out Tibet? Because Tibet is so small. You know what I'm saying? But Tibet is a very sacred land. That's where the crown chakra of the earth is at. So they don't just take out Tibet for that reason. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like protected on a very high frequency. But China's huge. You know what I'm saying? Tibet like this very small island. You know, and so it's like it goes back to the energy, the frequency that it's on.
Yeah, that's actually where they had the Tibetan rainbow monks that were able to teach this method of activating the rainbow body, that they actually were able to live, you know, become immortal, essentially. And Tibet was one of like the biggest center places in the entire...
High frequency Friday.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah, this place in Tibet was probably the most high frequency place on earth, you know.
Yeah, the crown chakra. It's the top, it's the tip point.
Absolutely. That's why these people that lived there, the ancient Tibetan monks, were able to live, you know,
And they still live
thousands
there.
of years. And
Yeah,
they
That's
still do.
that's where the bridges. This book right here.
You still
Yeah, they do. I mean, there's even the books that have been written on that.
The bridges of Shambhala.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or the fourth dimension. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, let me take a look at that.
Yeah.
There's another one I'll have to show you called,
What is it?
it's called The Key to Immortality, to Everlasting Life.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Yeah,
There's another one called
Masters
Masters of the Far East.
Masters of the Far East.
There's about like 12 like ministers who go out to the east, you know, and start practicing and getting the culture of the monks out there. And the monks literally doing things like walking on water, like carrying things. They're like, you know, appearing like splitting the bodies and appearing at two different places. You know what I'm saying? Once, you know, they're doing things like, you know, turning water into ice. You know what I'm saying? Like they're explaining it to them, and they're explaining it to them utilizing their work. You know, so it's called Masters of the Far East.
they do like levitation as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the same person that wrote the
Sound
Celestine
levitation,
Prophecy.
sound.
Yeah, it's the same person who wrote the Celestine Prophecy, which has to do with, you know, like your reality is already being created, already like the
Yeah.
multiverse. It's already out there. You've already walked the path. It's just happening at different speeds.
Right.
You know, that's what deja vu is. It's you aligning with one of the multiple realities that you are in and have been in already before. You know, so when you can align with all your realities, that's like Avatar aligning with all of the other previous avatars. You know what I'm saying? You gotta align with all of your ancestors' stars, because you are a star. So you gotta connect all of your stars. You know what I'm saying? Which would be, that would be like the astrological
Like
nature.
Sonic.
Yeah, that's like your astrological nature or your psychological mind. So you got to connect your mind, aka connect your brain. You know, going back to the hemi sync. You know, which has to do with your kundalini. It has to rise, not sink. You know, when kundalini goes up, and that's when you get into the hemi sync sphere. You know, but it's a constant understanding. It's a process because you are everything. You know, so. You know, you have neurons in your body that pick up cell stimuli, and then they actually form into that cell stimuli to connect, to form that bond. So that's why neighbors in your environment, you know what I'm saying, you become a product of that, you know what I'm saying, because that's your power, that's your being. So, you know, but that's why, yeah, so when you're going into hemisync, you have to have that consciousness and that awareness and constantly be understanding and comprehending that. You know, because it's like, you know, like, and it's constantly letting go and forgetting yourself and who you are because you're constantly picking up all these other stimuli around you. You know, this is why when you go to the mountains and certain places in nature, that you can really, there's nothing that you have to constantly let go. You can really just really receive and take in.
Yes.
That's that divine feminine. That's what she do. Divine feminine, receive and take in. You know, but that goes back to the 13. You know what I'm saying? That heart chakra energy, which is, you know, in between, you know, the higher realm and the lower realm. Because if you get too high, you get disconnected from the land or the lower realm beneath. If you get too low, you know what I'm saying? Then you know you're not, you know, high enough, and then now you're drowning in the pressure. You're hot. You on heat. You know what I'm saying? You're on a hot seat. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta stay in between, which will be, that's the heart chakra, that's the heart range. You know, which is why it's green.
Yeah, that's the part about the book here that I wanted to point out too, that it says you have to go through these specific inner changes before you enter Shambhala. That they say, you know, the ability that you have
Above the side, below school.
with prayer energy, which is essentially,
Fact, you say we got on top of the mountain, it was hot in the sun because the sun was up there.
yes.
But essentially the climate was cold.
Yeah.
But it was like, I guess the later it got throughout the day, the hotter it got. Yeah, but yeah, please finish what you were saying. You know?
Yeah, this book, you know, The Secret of Shambhala really reveals the secrets, you know, of living a life where you unlock the inner powers within yourself to get to even access what they say the Shambhala. It's like a, you know, frequency of a place that is able to, you know, get you not only aligned within your thoughts, but within every single fiber of your being that you can use to basically undergo massive transformation within society just by the vibration that you cultivate, that you emit. And that is so powerful because, you know, when you unlock these states of consciousness and you can have that level of an impact based on your vibration, and the power of that prayer energy that you can bring out into the world, you can truly create.
Remember about the word prayer. We're going to summoning energy.
Yeah, summoning, exactly. Because the energy that you summon is, you know, what will be created in your reality. And like when you do these deep meditations and practices, like what I do with my Twin Hearts meditations every day, you know, being able to program these energies out into the world, they, based on your vibration, the level of awareness that you've cultivated is directly correlated to the impact that what your prayers or what you invoke, what you know, channel into the ethers becomes reciprocated back into, you know, the world that you see outside of yourself.
That's a bar.
Yeah, it is, and that's how they've been able to use this, not only these ancient societies, but even today. You know, they're doing it behind the scenes. They're not really like reporting about it, but them being in these, you know, very secluded places are able to actually have a much deeper impact on the world than much people realize. You know, and that's why they'll sometimes come down just to show you their abilities, not even from a place of like wanting to say that they're better than anybody, but if that anybody can truly do this, you know, when they have that level of commitment, you know, and dedication and consistency into it. And that's where I've been able to personally in my own life also be part of organizations that are doing this actively around the world, including the university I've been studying at, Maharishi International University, which they're basically, they have programs called TM City programs where you can go and be part of these teams that will go to different places in the world, and they will send out, you know, through their meditations, what they want to project into an area that might be going through high rates of crime or a war, and they'll work with like the police and everybody to be able to even have measurable impacts on what they can do out in the world based on just grouping together, you know, and cultivating that level of awareness. So that's really the key that I wanted to share from this book, that I just felt, you know, so called to share, just the fact that you even, you know, brought it to my awareness.
Bridges to Shambhala.
Yeah.
And that was the Wi-Fi password too on Doctor Strange.
Really? Oh, this is a huge, you know, key
It was
to...
Shambhala, and then it was like Shambhala.
Yeah,
And then
this...
they were like, yeah, the Wi-Fi password. We're not hooligans. We're not savages. Something like that. So yeah, the bridges to Shambhala, you know, that has to do with the fourth dimension.
Yes.
You know, essentially, like when it comes to like World War II, you know, Adolf Hitler, you know, and the Germans, they were looking for the bridges to Shambhala because they heard that they were like, you know, monks in the mountains, you know, who were pulling things in to this reality, to this dimension from another realm, from another dimension. So they were looking for that. So, you know, even in the movie Wonder Woman,
Right.
in the beginning, there's a German ship that crosses and goes into a portal, you know, and then it's like they're training in this Wonder Woman, you know, so essentially like, yeah, that's what happened. They're looking for that dimension, and they were willing to do whatever for it, you know. So the British Shambhala has to do, but actually being able to go within and then taking your body, your being, from an atomic, you know, atom point of view, and then actually going to certain fields and actually being able to pull those things in. You know, like, you know, whether you do, if you're being, you know, your imagination and you put images in action, you know, or, you know, you are like able to, you know, it's like how we can do telekinesis with our mind, with our being,
Yes.
you know, through properly channeling chi or energy, you know, like, you know, you're able to actually do these things when you, particularly minding your frequency. So with the technological revolution that's happening, you know, it's a silent war, you know, which is why they went to a nano realm or a bio realm with the corona, you know what I'm saying, thing going on, you know, because it's like now, because we are getting stronger and brighter, information is coming in, they have to affect the genes. They have to affect the genes. So they come with the bio, you know what I'm saying, chemical, you know, warfare. So it's a silent war, you know, now that's going on too with the war that's already going on. You know, with the noise they were making with the hip hop and the music. You know, they started gangster rap, you know what I'm saying, which was where they started killing and promoting killing back in the 90s and stuff. And then now we have mumble rap, which is still gangster rap. You know, so like, yeah, they're promoting that, you know. So we have to successfully and properly utilize the corporation for what it is. It's trust, so we have to get trust to actually operate with it, you know, or else we're going to be left without it. You know what I'm saying? Trust is what you need to also develop within yourself, so because you can trust everything else happens in life because it's you. And you can trust everything that also happened in your past, like that. Boom. Trust everything that ever happened in your life, you know, because it was all you. You know, whether it was in that part, that body, or that thing, it was all you. You know, and then you gotta have your bond. You gotta bond with yourself so you can bond with others. So you can bond with the word, you know what I'm saying? So you can make bonds. You know what I'm saying? So bonds, you know, create more bonds. You know what I'm saying? That creates harmony. You know what I'm saying? When you have a bond and you have like, you know, shares, you know, things that you share with that bond. You know what I'm saying? You're able to get more things that you didn't have before because now you're sharing. You know, and that provides security because, you know, you're feeling comfort. You're trusting that because you're building that trust. The trust is like the situation that's happening between you and that person that, you know, is also benefiting something else, which is what the shares is doing, different things and benefiting other things. So that's a trust, you got security, you know what I'm saying? You're developing a friendship because they got one person that's willing to invest into that person and then the other person willing to invest back into that person.
Right.
So now what you have friendship, you know, so these are that's the dichotomy of words that we're living within. You know, we're getting in relationships, which are ships that are relating. You know, a ship like maritime law is traveling somewhere. So if you're on a ship, where are you going? So, you know, people are on these ships and, you know, and don't know where they're going, but don't know that the ships have been programmed with certain seas because it's a word that was created by a specific entity. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, like, even that word entity, all corporations, you know, everybody wasn't able to have entities, but, you know, before, prior to this time. You know, because entities were like, essentially, those were massive beings. You know, they were like massive beings, you know, bodies of moving things. You know, so everybody wasn't even able to have one. You know,
Right.
so now everybody's involved with entities.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And not just business. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's called an entity search. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, the summoning is happening on many different planes, and because they know they're influencing you from the get-go, from a born, you know, from an unlively pointed state. You know, they know that you're gonna be summoning things that's in their favor.
Right. Yeah.
True up on your part.
That's why I was even saying, like, just the fact that you shared this book with us, you know, this is already like, you know, the transformation of knowledge and wisdom that can be imparted upon another being. I would love to even hand it back to you here, just so that, you know, when we are sharing this is pretty much the most valuable thing that you can give to another person, you know, really, like, because when you activate that level of that type of energy within yourself, and then you have, you know, a medium of which that you can share that with another person, whether it be from with a book or from like a trust or a relationship, or, you know, all those other concepts you were describing, they can be magnified and manifested in ways that are beyond your wildest imagination of what your mind can conceive. You know, the universe brings blessings into your life that, at least I know for myself, have been beyond like anything I would have ever expected.
Yeah, beyond that you can see.
Yes, and that's why this path of being able to share this type of knowledge and these messages is pretty much like what I've known for years is pretty much the only thing that I could see myself doing truly, you know, in the long term for a ultimate type of career and lifestyle, because, you know, I want to be in those places like in Shambhala and Tibet, like have those experiences where I could be fully immersed out in nature, fully immersed in an environment where you can develop your inner being and then go out into the world and make an impact. And it happens on a quantum level, you know, really just by you raising your vibration in these ways of your own.
They're gonna be playing drums and doing telekinesis.
Yeah,
and doing
exactly.
telepathy.
All these abilities that you can.
Meditation, and then but it's just about, you know, like as you were saying, getting the frequency to get to a certain space where, you know, able to resonate there.
Right.
You know, to have understanding, then overstanding on whatever it is that you're seeing, perceiving.
Yes.
So like, yeah, time and space is important. And that's why I'm realizing, like, up north, you know, the time and space, because there's less space, the time is faster. You know, down south, because there's more space, the time is slow. And so time and space equates to speed. You know, so like, you know, like I said, I'm glad that we're somewhere in between, like all the different times and space. People going so slow all the way to the left, literally to the left. People going slow. Down the way, this street, all the way to the left. People going slow. And to the right. And the thing is, and they're really high though. You see that? And then to the right, people going fast. And then not that high.
Yeah, exactly.
To the right, to the left, to the right.
And when you high, you notice the speed signs, and you be going those speeds, and it's very like you chilling, you just cruising, and there's no rush or nothing. Like
Yeah, but they be so so the thing is with them, they so high. Yeah, there's literally no rush. They're stuck. They're be stuck like walking zombies, like Walking Dead. I'm like, yo, like that's like a good ass high, but it's unnatural. Like you should be functioning like your electric being. You know, it should be like, she shouldn't be like,
no,
like, because if you sleep unconscious, something can manipulate you. Like literally on the outside, somebody can bump into you or run into you. You know what I'm saying? So on the inside, something can really manipulate you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's creating bodies and portals, like, you know. I can see some type of like apocalyptic zombie thing going on. Like they have like, because a lot of them are already there. You know what I'm saying? They're literally already there. You know, so now like you can like keep influencing that frequency. Especially like if, you know, police can be driving past and then like they're not taming it. You know, like it's gonna get like, you know, interesting, like, you know, like just playing.
Absolutely. All of it is happening, you know, within what the Most High knows is for. We're put in the situation like to be here in Philadelphia because, you know, the Most High is putting us right in the middle of where you, like you said earlier, it's like every world all in one place, you know, as far as like what you can say is some of the most, you know, under supported and underdeveloped parts of the country, and then right next to it some of the most like well developed parts of the whole city.
Yeah.
You know, and it shows you right there that us being here, we have a divine purpose to bridge that gap between what the system is doing to those that are, you know, at the bottom, and what we have the power as a unified collective to do, you know, to basically shift us out of that cycle of repetitive, you know, cycles of addiction and consumerism and indoctrination into the system, to where people are pretty much for their entire lives kind of being, you know, perpetuated into the system, feeling like they have no other options or choices, but especially reaching the youth, you know, and those that are the most, you know, easily influenced, that are just starting out on their journeys. They're the ones that need this knowledge and information the most, because that's how you create a true transformation for the generations to come. You know, you start with those that are like the most ready and that need it, and like especially here, there's no lack of that. And the fact that me and a bunch of people I've grown up with around here in the city have started many different organizations and movements and events. There's even one going on tomorrow for artists to network with, and, you know, basically taking people that want to use their creative passions and giving them an outlet to be able to do it. And, you know, the things you guys have envisioned as well, like building, getting the grants for you to give people
You said there's an event tomorrow?
Yeah, there is, yeah. All these different ways of being able to network are so powerful. And the one tomorrow, it's called Room 43. It's here in the city, not too far. And my friend, his name is Alain, organizing it. He's one of the best artists I've ever met, and also a really dope creative that I grew up with, went to the same school. And he has joined together with a bunch of like what I would consider some of the best artists in the whole city, and all types of creatives, you know, direct, like people that are videographers, you know, people that are painters, you know, whatever types of creative that you are, you know, for all of them to come together and network, and then, you know, do different projects together. Yeah. I mean, if I didn't have work, I would definitely be there, but it's gonna be from 6 to 10. Oh wait, actually, never mind. They rescheduled because of the rain, so it's gonna be next week instead. Yeah.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah, that'll actually be better because then I can make it, and then we can all go out
It's like a
together.
really rare event to
Yeah.
because it's about connecting that mindset network.
Mm-hmm.
And then at first he said like, yeah, we want to get away, you know what I'm saying, so we can get entertained in a particular time and space where we can do the work properly, you know what I'm saying, like going back to nature. That's why we planning to go to like, you know, the tropics, you know,
Yes,
Costa
exactly.
Rica in the winter time. It gets to that time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's very important, to be able to be fluid, you know, within not only where you are physically, but like according to just being like adaptive as a person. You know, that's one of the greatest qualities and traits you can have, being willing to make moves like that, you know, based on how the seasons change, or how, you know, unexpected things could also come up in life. Like, even what brought you guys here, you know, with what
Yeah.
the situation you're dealing with, like,
Because you can watch that minor setback from major come up.
yeah, and the way you guys have handled it, you know, being making that situation into something that you've been able to take what you have here, find all the opportunities you can, and be able to build these connections. That's what even led to us meeting each other, you know.
And back then, even a lot of things in here was building like this table.
Oh yeah, you guys built that?
Well, not like build like us as far as like, you know, placed it in here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
Found it out and placed it in here.
Did you?
And then I
Wow.
bookshelf too. And then all those books.
All the books in there?
Yeah.
This one? Oh my
All the
goodness.
books and the entire bookshelf itself.
I see the Many Lives, Many Masters. That's a great book. Have you read that?
No, I actually just got there last week.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, past lives, it looks good.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
wow.
really good.
These are all really good books.
Yeah, they were all like free books that, you know, just like.
Oh, the 10th insight, and this one is the 12th insight, so it's a whole series.
Yeah, and then the Celestial Prophecies upstairs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You have a lot of his books from James Radcliffe.
Yeah, the series. And even those were, she found them on top of a fridge, one of the community fridges.
Really?
It's out, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would
the
love
whole
to.
series, like.
I would love to trade some, you know, books I have at home too. At some point, or even like
Some
to
book
donate.
trades?
I'll donate some as well. Like I have
Yeah,
a
come
whole
through with the
bunch.
books next time. Hey, y'all, next time, pull up with the books.
Yeah, definitely.
Book session.
Dude.
I have like a whole shelf at home of stuff that I've read over the years that I always love to share it with people. You know, like do trades and
Yeah,
Stuff
that's
like
like,
that.
I always be sharing my books, you know, but
Yeah.
I like trades. That sounds like a great idea.
yeah,
It goes back to the favorite thing.
yeah.
Let's trade books.
That's true.
Yeah, so like they're going back to the tropics thing, like,
Mm,
so like making that a move, making that a current,
mm,
you know, like getting the details as far as like where we're gonna be traveling first,
right.
you know, how we're gonna be getting there, you know what I'm saying, and like, you know, where we're gonna be traveling, you know, once we get there, what we're gonna be doing, what it's gonna take to get there. You know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah, there's a few communities I've already started applying to, just like as a potential option that I can send to you to apply to.
so if we were to go to, you know, the tropics, like where would it be first, like, you know, where would it be landing?
Well, that would depend on, you know, firstly where my friends are gonna be at that time. Like, if we wanted to stay with my friends, but that's why I'm saying if we.
Well, we're not going to Colombia first, and then drop into.
Oh right, yeah. If we do that, which I think would be the best option, then yeah, my
So we
friend in
gotta
Colombia.
put our eye on Colombia.
Yeah,
like,
I have to. Yeah, absolutely. They're not expensive. I've already looked, you know, because even going to Ecuador is only like $300.
And then we gotta get to Colombia.
Yeah, and then.
We gotta live and begin. Like, we gotta go into the in life and just living like that's what happened to us, you know. We got, you know, this place like I guess we were like, okay, I guess now we're going to adventure. But it's happened to me before, you know, when I had my first apartment at like 21 years old,
Mhm.
you know, and a few different other times. So it's in my neighbor chart. My North Node is in Scorpio in the 12th house.
Right.
So like unexpected, like instantaneous like transformations. You know what I'm saying? Are like gonna be like learning lessons and points for me in my life. You know? Like instantaneous things I can't see necessarily that's gonna actually bring me back with that. You know? So
Wait, so
that sounds great. So
have you guys done any of those steps to be able to get your documents secured?
for me, I have my documents right here. You know, and also like you
But
know,
your passport, though, that's what you would probably want to have. To
right? So yeah, I have a passport in Atlanta, but
Do you have someone
I'm
that can mail it to you? Or
nah, I'll probably be back in Atlanta.
oh, you're gonna go back.
Yeah, right before then,
When do you think you're gonna go?
like as soon as possible.
Really?
Yeah. Atlanta's not that far away, like.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, it's not especially.
As I get like enough, funds to travel and then stay for a few days, then I'm going to go and just bring something.
Oh, you're gonna get some business taken care of,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna get like all the stuff that you need to be able to travel with and bring it back here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from here in Philly, that's where you're gonna make the move to like the tropics.
Yeah. Peace out here.
Okay.
Peace out.
What about you, Angel? Did you take care of like for you to be able to get your?
Well, if you're going to Colombia,
Yeah.
right? She has Colombian citizenship, so she can fly to Colombia. So now she just need like an ID,
Yeah,
like,
just an ID.
Yeah, so we are also when the funds come in, we're gonna get the ID, and the ID that we're gonna get specifically. So okay, so there's a government, a national government that's been recognized, known as the United States of American Republic. You know what I'm saying? Basically, it's just like it's a national government. It's basically for the American Moors or the descendant of the Moors. You know what I'm saying? And particularly like they have their own recognized jurisdiction by the United States. They have 13 provinces. You know what I'm saying? That its constitution. You know what I'm saying? Is over. So basically, yeah, they have like their own courts. You know what I'm saying? They're building their own law enforcement agency. Working on building their own banks. And this is where we would come in because we represent the banking family.
Yeah.
I'm saying like that's what we are. We're the bankers. Because if you're around me, I'm basically be talking bank and currency, which is money all the time. Storage, vault. You know what I'm saying? Gold. You know what I'm saying? That's the bank. These are what bankers. So what was the point? What was it slipped my train of thought or something. I really started going to the bankers. I'm like, man, yeah, we really are the bankers. Because the bankers right now, the ones that have spread across the nations, international bankers, they're the ones who are running everything.
Yeah.
They're the ones who were able to draw out the system.
You got the International Monetary Fund.
I mean, like they drew out like lines on the map. Okay, you operate this. It's gonna run for this. Because frequency, you need to code it. You need to code the gene, like a genetic code. You know what I'm saying? So UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. So that's what they did. And then a statute, it just stays there forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in this code, it's the same thing. Statutes and codes. And then it's the politics or policies. You know what I'm saying? Which is why they have to deal with police. If you break the code. Yeah. But the code is a fraudulent code because it's a duplicate of something.
Right.
But it's not duplicate in its true nature. It's reversed. Perversed.
Yeah, so this is also what you guys are going to use to be able to get through pretty much through all your travels as well as like, having the knowledge about that international.
Yeah, that and then also lastly, just traveling throughout the ministry because if once you have a minister or members of a ministry,
right.
You now have like missionary trips that you go on. I think that's the law of maximum. That's above sovereign law. You know what I'm saying? So where you have the part where you have to contract, you have to talk with these entities that you're about to travel overseas with, so that they can recognize or respect you before you even arrive. Even in court before you arrive, they give you a summary, some of your energy, and then you go. So you know what I'm saying? You got to present your energy to them, and then you go. You know what I'm saying? As far as operating with the ministry, so I'm also working on investing in the portals to see how basically how to secure the right paperwork and credentials to be able to make those type of moves. Because it's just about being like IGO, an international government organization, or an NGO, a non-government organization.
Right. Yeah, that's what the other guy is doing. That has what's the organization called? The
Lex Industries.
Not the Lex Industries. The guy that we were on the live with the other day.
We were on live with him?
Like we were like watching his live at the same time.
Oh, you talk about Silverback, mentality. I was
Silverback,
like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah. Basically, he's the one who put me onto the. Really, he put me onto the Commerce game. Him and his partner, he came in there with Q Mussolini, and yeah, they was like.
Did you think back to that?
Oh yeah. Wait, where does it?
To your right, where your index finger is at. Oh, by the cup.
Oh.
To the left. Honey, right? You said it.
Oh, I thought you said a lighter for a second. I don't know why I was thinking that.
A lighter?
Yeah, I thought you had said
Oh.
that for a second. But yeah, the Silverback and the
Right.
corporation that he's got. Can't believe I'm blanking on the name of that one too. But it pretty much has the same idea behind it. You know, where they have pretty much like the whole organization is set around basically giving you access into you know, this this nation that it's part of that, you know, nonprofit ministry, and it can be used for you to get the NGO status, you know, like you're saying, and get recognized, you know, to be able to travel completely sovereign and free, and you know, you get ordained into their ministry and their network. And he said that he's gonna Super PAC, that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's
Super
a political action committee.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You can affect policies and can change.
Yeah.
You can change the code. You can interfere with the code. You know, that's how you play with the matrix. You know, either super pack, you know, or pack the people, like, or wolf pack, you know,
Yes.
pack the lions. You know,
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Pack the eagles. You know what I'm saying? In the pack. You know, so that's your own nation, and that's why you're able to actually collect, you know, your own type of currency and create your own type of currency.
Right.
You know, and then also you're able to be at the United Nations table or a global recognized scale because you're your own nation. You know, so like, yeah, it's him, but they have a lot of connections though. That's what's going on. You know, that's they able to represent that. You know, not many able to make it through the gateway, but you know, that's why I'm very close to him. But you know, due to things that keep happening, like they're closing and making the gateway.
Yeah, he said that he's like only keeping it open for a little short more time, like maybe a few more weeks, and then he's gonna close the Super PAC.
Yeah, I thought I heard him say it was closed. He's like,
Oh yeah, I think you probably might have already
closing
done
the
it.
doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that situation. Wow. Yeah. Like to the public.
Right.
But I'm like, but there's no private without the public. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So like right now, the duality still exists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to transcend duality, they gotta become one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, both sides have to know about the other side, and then have to be in agreement or equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? Balance, harmony. You know, so when he said that, I was like, yeah, I'm still like in contact with him. I feel like I'm gonna be the bridgeway, because like, you know, you're supposed to have liaisons and extensions to be able to transmit the word, especially if you talk about deep private things. You need to understand how deep private works, which is a cult. You know what I'm saying? Which is like the 8th house or Scorpio energy. You need to understand what you're doing with those deep waters.